Trust for Leap Day, huh? I'm told that's what we call it, the 29th of February. Learn something new every day. We're waiting for Laura Schofield, who's our star witness, if you will, today, so I'm hoping that she's on her way. In the meantime, we'll call the meeting to order and open first with public comment. And Bruce, I think you've offered up to give us an update on the...
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the Affordable Housing Trust Committee, Selectman Kavanaugh. Thank you for having me here today. It's been a while since I've been before the board, and I just kind of want to give you an update on where we're at. We're trying to meet all the conditions that were brought forth by your board to accept this $476,000. It hasn't been an easy task trying to get a lottery company and a management company to come in and manage just 3 apartments. We've had estimates of upwards of $15,000 per apartment per year to manage this property. We've said no to that. We've also reached out to the company that manages Pine Oaks Village, hoping that we're right across the street, that maybe they would take us on as well. We've also gotten no reply from them as well. I acted on a tip last week to call Bass River Properties in Yarmouth. The gentleman that owns that company met with me in one day. I had a contract with him the next day, which was Tuesday. Everything is in this contract except for a couple of small things that we would like changed. Our internal Housing Trust Board is going to meet with him on Monday to just work out the finer details of this document, and we can get that off to Attorney Kroll to just finalize that, and hopefully within a week we'll be accepting that money that you've given us. I think January and February we weren't going to get that much work done on the inside of that property anyways, because there's no heat, it's cold. We're still looking at a 1-year timeline to finish that up, so next year at this time hopefully we'll be completing that project of not only the second floor 3 apartments but the downstairs as well. I picked up the septic design. That's all been done. I've dropped that off to Board of Health today. That's all been approved, so we're ready to go with the sending that out to bid for septic, get a septic company in there to put the septic system in. All our subs are just waiting for us to say go, so we don't have any delay with that. Post-COVID, some of the materials have started to come down, so we're looking at a little bit of savings there as well. So hopefully everything goes well here in the next week, and we're going to be able to move forward.
Thank you, Bruce. Questions, comments, Sir Bruce, Bob?
That sounds great.
Yeah, I mean,
Great.
I've never had to do this. If I had known 2 years ago when we started this project, these were the hoops that I was going to have to jump through to do this, I still would have done it, but I would have been a little bit more prepared. It seems like every time you turn around, there's something else that needs to be done, but
Sometimes
being the first ones to do it, we have plenty of information to give everybody else coming forward behind us.
Good. Yeah, we'll use that example. Sometimes ignorance is okay, you see.
Yeah.
Claudia?
Did you try, I'm just curious, does the CDP do anything like that manage lotteries and properties?
They wouldn't touch this.
What?
They didn't want to touch this.
Too small or
Yep.
just, okay.
Yep, they didn't want to.
I just was curious, yeah.
That Bass River Properties, they do have 320 units that they manage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 180 that he actually owns himself. Some of it's affordable, some of it's workforce. He runs a really tight ship. He'll have a website that we'll be able to go into under the Harwich Fire Association that has monthly what's happened, who's paid their rent, who hasn't, and he also does the yearly year-end review, and he also does a year-end review with the tenants to make sure that they're not trashing the apartments, that they're on the up and up, and it seems pretty well squared away.
That's great.
I think he's number 2 behind Davenport on the Cape. So.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it. Will you be letting us know just when the lottery opens up and stuff so we can do some
I think that'll be
advertising?
soon.
Okay.
Once we get this management company, and this management company has actually worked with the lottery company that we have picked, so they're going to work together on that.
Oh,
So
nice.
that'll help everybody as well. I was over at Pine Oaks Village, just on another note, yesterday to drop off an application for my brother. They have 600 applicants waiting for a place to live.
Yeah.
600.
That's scary.
So it's really, really needed, and we're really looking forward to moving this forward. Thank you very much for your patience on this. So,
It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
great. Thank
Brendan?
No, great job.
okay. Thank you.
Same, yeah, amazing job. It's just such a unique project and it kind of brings out the best of everybody. So
Yeah.
it's good.
And that mess in the parking lot's not ours, it's somebody else's. It's gonna improve, but it's not our mess.
No, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for all your work.
Yep,
in-
thank you
in
so
your
much.
improved
Thank
contract.
Yeah, it's great seeing you all.
Yeah, you-
Can't wait to come back with another update.
Let's move on and to old business and approve the minutes if there's comment on last week. So they came out quick. Is there any comments? If not, entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any, Bob?
One correction.
Sure.
Christine Flynn, F-L-Y-N-N, is the proper spelling as opposed to F-L-I-N-T.
Okay. Glad you caught that, Bob. Thank you. Any other comments, corrections? With those corrections then, is all in favor?
Aye.
Obviously no opposition since everyone said aye. And now I'm a bit of a dilemma because as far as I knew, Laura was planning on being here.
I'll check and see if there's any, I don't think there were any update emails, right? Nobody
No,
got
I
it?
didn't
Okay.
get any, so
Okay.
we'll see. And the truth is, I'm not sure if, let's proceed with the discussion. Because she did send us all the information. And just to quickly review, we have approved the draft in the past, the draft RFP. What we didn't approve and what we didn't have information on was the potential concept drawings to complete it. And so these documents are really long. I couldn't, when you get to the lease agreement, I started reading it and then I skimmed it after
It's a lot.
after 8 or 10 pages, because I think it was over 100 pages. But that's for the developer to sign. In my mind, the thing that the item we do need to discuss are the two concept drawings in the back of it. Because what she's basically done is separate the, I forget exactly, Brenda, I'm sure you'll correct me, but like 12 and a half acres. Because there is at least a paperwork going through there, so she separated out basically half of that. Part is 6 acres that fronts 124 and Queen Anne, and 6 acres that fronts 124. And the concept then is basically the same. There are 2 larger buildings with apartments, and I think, and then 6 other smaller buildings. 9 is what it is, but in smaller units. So I think the concept is to have it fit into the neighborhood as easily as we can. There's no gigantic, as mentioned, I went to the housing committee last night, no concrete and glass high rises there. Their intent is to look at, and the intent was, the concept was give an idea there. She's built into that 90 bedrooms into those buildings, which is the max that we can have on 6 acres with that parcel to meet the wastewater requirements from DEP. And I think what I'm looking for tonight is if we look at the, do we have one concept that we like over the others?
Okay.
And for what it's worth, my 2 cents is probably the Queen Anne one because that's because of access to Queen Anne, which we discussed before, might be an easier road to get to because it's not a state road. And then it gives us opportunity on the other half to maybe go back for housing later or leave that for open space or park or, your imagination can go wild. I know there's always interest in YMCA moving in the area. But that would give us off affordable housing. But I think if we can decide that, catch up with me, but if we agree on that, I think I'm hoping we'll go get ready for a vote and put that out as an RFP. Just one other comment. Our intent was, and Julie, we've had this discussion before it came, but all along our intent was to keep this as broad as possible, thinking that we have good and creative developers that if, we list the primary criteria, we might get, maybe someone will come up with a much better plan than this.
Right.
So I'll stop because I've said more than I know. Who wants to start?
Well, you want me to start? Because I'm sort of looking at it from a higher level
Sure.
because you guys have been more embedded in it.
Sure.
Okay, good.
And so when I was looking at it, I think it's great because you don't want to be too specific. I mean, I would even say that some of it is it's not too specific, but it's specific enough to give guidance
Right.
to what you're looking for, right? So I think in that regard, you kind of need some specificity, but at the same token, it is general. And the only thing I would say is I hope, because it's 5 years of experience in doing these, and I know there's plenty of these companies around, I just hope they're paying attention.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Julie. And that's the key that when we, following this, if we do approve this, then it goes to our procurement officers, and we're dependent on Joel and Megan, be sure that is spread out to all the sources, and I'm sure the selectmen will mention it as well.
oh yeah, definitely.
And by the way, Julie, feel free to share all these plans with the rest of the select board,
Okay, yeah, I will, definitely.
because we don't want, we promised in our meeting we keep them informed, so I'm sure you do it anyway, but
I will.
it's not a secret. Brendan?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, what's exciting about it is that there's the potential of, we're only using half of it to get what we really need for the 90, which is amazing. And maybe the other parcel could be, let's say it's habitat, single-family homes or something. So it's really exciting. I mean, I'm really up for either property, but it seems if the traffic is an issue in getting onto Queen Anne, seems,
I only
not,
mention-
by not using the paper road,
Yeah.
if that's one of the options, like, that is the better parcel.
Yeah.
So,
I only mention that because that had been discussions in the past.
correct, yeah.
Okay, Claudia?
I guess similar to kind of what Brendan was saying is, it sounds really good in terms of the 90 bedrooms, and then thinking about kind of what we talked about last week was, are there any creative things we can do that are more towards home ownership or, but open space, habitat, all of that sounds really good and nice knowing we have time now that this is gonna move forward.
Yeah.
We know we've got the 90 bedrooms we're working with, so, I'm comfortable with it. We've kind of gone through it with Laura, so it feels good.
Okay, good. Bob?
I think along that line, if we were to look at the parcel that's abutting Queen Anne Road, in order to,
Oh, great.
in order,
Laura, we started without you, but, 4:30. Sorry, we had, that's great, you're good.
Yeah, no, it was,
it's fine. So my thought is that if we were to focus the development on that lower parcel, the southern parcel is what I'm going to call it, we should be mindful of having that set up in such a way so that a road easement would be included in there that would allow traffic to come from the northern portion of the parcel and to come through.
Good idea.
yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
that would be an
I
important.
think we're gonna need a second means of egress anyways,
I
just
think
for,
you're right.
yeah.
Yep. And I think that we'll need that for, I'm not sure how the fire department's gonna get their vehicles through there, but that's
Oh, that's a good idea.
just a piece.
Laura, sorry about that. I thought the revised agenda's been sent out. But where we are is that we decided to concentrate on the two concept plans. You want to come up to, you can sit down, you don't have to stand. I mean, you're doing all the heavy work, so we'll bring in an easy chair for you if you want.
Make sure I don't have the sun here. Okay, that's what I wanted you to, one thing that I wanted you to concentrate on, so I'm glad.
And because the rest of it, we had approved the draft before, and the concept drafts are great. And I think basically where we are, we've all commented on it. And it looked like I'm going to call it the Queen Anne, Bob says Southern, I'll take either version of it. But this, for everyone here, why don't you start at the beginning and go through the slides that you have?
Sure. It's, that's a mic?
Yeah,
That's my kid.
Okay,
and I
Just make
apologize
it-
for the mix-up in time, but thank you very much for making the
no
trip.
problem. Sorry, I'm half an hour late. So I just wanted to go over a couple of, and I can't see this, I didn't bring it with me. Just an overview of the draft, just hit the highlights, what, and then look at the concepts, which is where you guys are.
Right.
Because that's really the last thing to nail down,
Yeah.
I think. Everything else. So, the developments, either one side or the other of Bassett's Road, Lane.
Yeah,
And the access is either from Pleasant Lake Road or Queen Anne Road,
Yeah.
depending on which side you see it. And there's options for second egress at both sides, both ends. But, we can talk about when we get to the concept plans, what the engineers were thinking. Up to 90 bedrooms, I don't think we put a number on there. All affordable up to 100% because of the purchase by using CPA funds, with a preference for a range of incomes, so you have, everything from 30 to 100, hopefully, when you get through.
Laura, can I
Can you
just
explain-
comment on that? Because we have a lot of discussion on.
Can you explain the
percentage
average so
wise, so,
everyone
'cause it
understands?
versus, we've had a lot of discussion, and we're talking 100, but it's 80% average, which is, I think, a new concept for some of the people.
Right, so, because Community Preservation Act allows you to go to 100%, you don't have to, you can say everything has to be below 80%, or you can say whatever target you want to have. But I think in our previous discussions, you wanted to have some that were above the 80%. And so in order to have some above the 80%, you have to, the most you can go
averages.
is to 100%.
Yeah,
And then the rest of the units that are at 80% and below are most likely going to be financed using low-income housing tax credits. And when you do that, they have to average 60% AMI. They can go from 30 to 80, but they have to average 60, which, they used to all be 60 and below, but now you can average them. And so you get a range from the very low income to the 100% median.
yeah, that was really informative in the information, because I hadn't thought about the average versus the max of 80%. Now, let me ask you, Laura, is that something we rely on a developer to sort that out?
Yes. Yeah, they will. And having the priority being the range, they'll look at, the majority of the units will be 80% and below, because you get the most money for the tax credits for subsidy. And then the ones that are above 80%, there's another subsidy called workforce housing, I don't like the name, that can come in and subsidize those units.
Okay,
So that's how they get it, that's how they get it funded.
okay, good. Now, Brendan, I know this is your expert. You have any other comments?
I'm gonna hold off for now.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't wanna drag it out. But, yeah, I'm good with it.
Okay. So the conceptual site plans, which we'll see in a minute and you've looked at, they anticipate a 3-story building for the majority of the units, and then townhouses for some 3-bedroom units mostly. It's what we anticipated. That doesn't mean that's what you're gonna get. That's just a potential site plan.
Yeah.
And typically developers try and get as close to that unless they have what they think is a better idea that you're gonna like better than what was
Right.
put before them. Yeah, so developers are encouraged to be creative.
yeah, that's
and-
great. That was our intent all along.
Yeah, and we've seen that in both the newest Brewster development, and they just changed the name on, I think it's now Village on the Hill, used to be Juniper Hill. It's on Millstone Road, for those of you who know Millstone Road. And then the Wellfleet development on Lawrence Road. They did some great architecturals for that one as well. I should probably share those with you. They're very good. So you talked about leasing the land in a 99-year ground lease.
Yep.
The developer owner would be responsible for designing, permitting, funding, owning the building, and managing the property. Typically, so there's two different kind of types of developers. One has a subsidiary that is a rental management. Some developers are like that, and others get third-party management. They're both as good as the other as far as.
And I do know you made that very clear on your draft RFP, that those are two options. So
Those are two options, and they just have to be very clear how they're going to, if it's not a subsidiary or part of their ownership, then how are you gonna choose them? Are you gonna, usually they do a request for qualifications or, getting, it's not really bids, because everyone kind of charges the same, but just, really qualifications. And because of, where you are on the Cape, it'll be a rental management company that is already on the Cape. There's several that are already on the Cape. Not necessarily Cape-based, but they have a regional presence.
Can I,
Sure,
quick
please,
question,
Bob.
Laura, there's, you talk about rent being paid relative to the lease. How do you calculate what that is?
For the ground lease?
Yeah,
So usually, because if it's a set amount annually, it has to be in their operating expenses, so they have to finance it, basically. So usually what happens is, the municipality will take a lump sum for the first year and then do nominal payments going forward. So you'll take, whatever, they have part of the request for proposals is a price proposal, and they'll offer something. You can put in the RFP that for the time and staff and, efforts of the town and the trust, especially since you did engineering, you did some other things, you can have a minimum in there. We want to see this as a minimum. And sometimes it's negotiated after, they say this is what it is, and then you have a little negotiation afterwards. The scoring is not based on the price proposal. So that doesn't get opened up till after you've scored the proposal.
Yep.
It's a little bit different than a, public construction bid.
okay.
Um,
Can I do
Laura,
a
sure.
follow-up question on that?
Yeah.
You also talk in the RFP, in the draft, that the town is added as an additional insured. Is there any need to include the trust as an additional insured? Because the trust is somewhat separate from the town.
I should have checked that. Yeah, it would be the trust.
Okay,
You're a separate body, even though you're an autonomous body from the town, even though you're a instrument of the town.
yeah, that's,
Yeah,
that
good.
seems like something that needs to be finessed a little
Yep,
bit.
I'll work that in.
Okay,
Sorry,
that's all right.
didn't catch that. Okay. All right, now we're at the conceptual plans.
Yeah.
This is an example of attached townhouses,
Yeah.
just so you can see that it's.
Nice looking.
Can't really read that too well. So this is the one that comes, obviously, the northern site. Oh, thanks. The northern site comes right off of Pleasant Lake Road. There's an existing curb cut, so the engineers went and checked, and it can be used. There was some question for time
Right.
about whether that could be used, and it can be. And then as far as second means of egress, if it was needed, if, you know, folks thought that it was necessary, there's really two. You could put an easement through the southern portion, along the, most likely along the lot line. So you're not
Okay.
reducing the developable space of that lot to come out on Queen Anne. And that could either be just an emergency exit, it depends, you know, you'll want to take, the developer will want to take the utilities and the main entrance in through Pleasant Lake because it's a shorter distance.
Right.
So that's one rendering, and that one actually has two buildings, as you can see. And then the other one, no, that one has two, I thought it was one. That one has two, and that one accesses off of Queen Anne.
Right.
And then, did I put the third one in? I didn't. The third concept had both of them being developed, and I'm not sure that I shared that because it was.
You did not. You shared two of them.
Yeah, the other one had this development on the southern portion, and then it had, I think there were 12 single-family homes on the northern one. It was, I didn't share, it was really tight, and because you're restricted to 100% AMI, it's a little tough. There's no funding right now, very little funding right now to subsidize affordable home ownership. So really all there is CPA.
Okay.
And it would be, it's not really financially feasible, so I will share it with you, but it's,
You're not pushing it.
I'm not pushing it.
Well.
It would be
yeah.
difficult to do.
And, you know, and I appreciate that, because we need housing, but we can't get greedy either. It has to be, I think this is a reasonable size. It shouldn't, hopefully it won't scare anyone,
Yeah, it's,
and we'll get housing.
yeah, and it's a good location for housing. It's, you know, there's gonna be questions on traffic. That's a busy road always, and the intersection is, you know, is busy, but, traffic mitigation happens all the time.
Right.
And you're looking at an existing intersection that's already probably not, it's certainly not an A or a B. You know what
Now,
I
I
mean?
think we have an existing intersection that needs work anyway, regardless of what we do.
Right.
If I may, Julie, interrupt you for a bit and ask Julie, I think when we had the Cape Cod Commission, they said they could do a traffic study for us. The preference is after we know more details, but he said if the select board were to request it, they would try to do something ahead of that.
Oh, okay.
And I think that might be something to bring up, at least in some general sense, to try to get ahead of the public discussion.
Yeah.
And then we maybe fine tune it when we know more, but, because that'll be the concern that will come out, I'm sure, will be traffic.
Well, yeah, because we know that that's another issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can get something, we can get
Yeah,
in
we
front
should
of
get
it.
ahead of that.
And that has to come from you folks, not
Yeah,
from us.
yeah,
obviously.
okay. I'll take note of that.
Sorry, Laura.
That's okay. And the developer would most likely, in any permitting situation, would have to do a traffic study.
We're gonna get,
And then usually it's peer reviewed by the town.
Okay.
Zoning board would request, you know, to be peer reviewed. So that's, that will get done down the line.
okay. Yeah, I think it's multiple step. I'm worried about two. You get done in the past, but they get in front of the discussion as well, is what
Yeah.
my concern is. And, Bob, you anything more to add to that?
I do, and I just want to be clear, I have to leave at 5:30,
We'll be down at 5:30.
Yeah.
Or we'll lock you in.
In the LDA, in bullet point 1.2, And 1.1, there's a lot of the town shall within 30 days.
Yeah,
It's got to get flipped to be the trust. Shall.
it's a template,
Okay.
so, I'll change it to trust.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
And then in 1.3, the use of the premises, you're talking, there's a lot of blanks there. When does that get filled out?
So the land disposition agreement is kind of like a P&S. So it goes between the award and when they get a construction closing, so when they get the lease.
Okay.
So it usually enumerates all the things that they have to do before you're gonna sign a lease with them.
Okay. Good. And the last question I had was, as we're looking at the concept, it's still not clear what the status is between, on the northern side of Bassett's, what the status is of that center parcel. Is there any clarification?
Last I knew, Joe was still looking at that.
Yeah, I'll follow up on the parcel.
But that's been, Julie, you know, that's been a discussion now for a couple of years to try and
Years.
resolve it.
Yeah.
And it's still, that's in Julie's and the
I
select board
think
right
when we
now.
looked at it, it's owner's unknown.
Yeah,
There's a process that has to go through.
Right.
The town can start it with, or
Right.
anyone can start really with owner's unknown.
Bob, before I let you go, just as you were walking in, Laura, Bob raised a point on access to the northern lot. Could you repeat that
Right.
for us, Laura?
If we were to focus our development on the northern lot,
Yep.
north of Bassett's, I think we would be wise to pay attention to creating an easement on the southern lot that would give us access to Queen Anne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, where does that come in the process? Is that part of the LDA?
No, that would be part of the permitting, for the developer would, you could do it, I guess you could do it in two ways. I think you'd do it all at once.
Okay.
In the permitting, where you'd subdivide the two. And I don't think they're together now, but, you know, we can talk. They're in one deed right now. You'd want to separate the deeds and then add the easement there. The trust would give the easement to the developer, and that would run with the land of the northerly.
But,
Okay.
for my clarification, Bob, I thought one of the things you were getting at was if we concentrate on the southern, you know, the Queen Anne, we're mixing the names, I understood your point to be, we should consider having an easement going to the north in case we wanted to do something with that later.
I was
So
standing on
either
my head.
way,
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, either way.
Either way.
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
So do you have a preference?
Well, I know my preference was basically because of the traffic work, was work on the Queen Anne side first, because our previous discussion was 124 being a state road is be more difficult to work with, and Queen Anne we could make happen faster, easier, maybe not faster, but easier. But I don't know, anyone objected, change their mind to that?
What do you think?
I guess,
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
what's our plan for the other open space?
That's-
So if it's gonna be just open space,
Well,
like, why not keep the northern part and then have the access going through to Queen Anne, so you have the two means of egress? So, you know, it's,
Say that again, Brendan, sorry, I wasn't
So,
following that.
if we're gonna keep it open, let's say we
The
develop,
northern part?
let's say it's the northern part.
Okay.
we may want to build there, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, would that be a plan?
I think we want to keep that open for possible building.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep it separate.
Yeah, I'm assuming that
And
do
does
this.
Bassett Lane, does that ever come into play as far as being developed, or another second means of egress out of the properties?
Yeah, that's the other option.
Yeah, so if we have that option, that solves what we're talking about on both properties.
Okay.
So,
It has, it's laid out as a 20-foot road,
yeah,
paper road.
so,
So it could be, I would say it probably should be an emergency exit more than anything else,
mhm.
because it kind of goes straight through, you know.
Yeah, because my hope is we'll develop both, but maybe the second one could be much less, could be more, could be
Yeah,
different.
Yeah,
But the point made a while back in a couple of meetings, if Bassett Lane is a viable road, then it makes that parcel a usable parcel that can be
Right.
developed for
Mhm.
something.
Right.
Or something we could sell.
Yeah.
So it's a,
Or if that middle piece gets,
if that comes to
if
fruition, then
that comes
yes.
to fruition, then you have, you know,
Then we have a third property.
give
Yeah.
a third, or you combine the two northerly
Correct.
ones.
So maybe it is doing the south and then see what happens on the north to make it a bigger parcel.
Yeah.
Okay.
When do, what's the process for finding out about that north parcel? I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's in, we did the eminent domain, we put the 170 aside.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's as much as I know.
I
on
know,
it. It's-
and I
Julie,
know
that was,
it's
we've
gone
had,
on forever.
Okay, I'm just
so-
new to that, so I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow up. I don't wanna say the wrong thing.
no, it's, that's right, because it, basically, we, in our previous discussion, we had to take that by eminent domain and it has to go back to town meeting and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
There's been a lot of discussion that Julie will sort it out.
But that makes sense what Brendan's saying then, if we don't
Don't you
know,
love me, Julie?
If we don't know, yeah.
I'm your best
No.
friend.
then wouldn't we stay with the southern part developing until we do know, and then we could do that as a separate development?
Yeah.
And
My-
see we have the whole thing or only part of it?
Yeah, what, for what's worth, my direction would be if we did the southern, let's really focus on that, get that done, then we can go back and reconsider the northern part, maybe.
Yeah, that, I agree with that.
You know,
That's what you said, Brendan, right?
Do you have a preference?
Yeah.
No, because there's a question out there, I mean, honestly, if you're probably a few years away from getting that piece.
Mm.
Because even if you know, if you take it, there's still a 2-year, I think, there's a 2-year right
Not
of,
only that, have to go to town meeting, we're too late for
Have to go
this
to-
year's
yeah.
town meeting, so
Yeah.
we won't even get there until a year from now.
yeah, so I think you're a few years away.
Okay?
Okay.
Any other thing we should know, or should, where we,
I think we hit everything that I had that I needed to put it in, except for timeline.
yeah, this is,
So if you okay the draft today, we can refer it to procurement and attorney tomorrow.
right,
And then I think we have to give them 30 days to review it, to be fair, which brings us to April 1st. And then there's about a 10-day, time to get things in the paper and in the central register. So we'd release it on April 10th. And then it's usually 8 to 9 weeks. So that brings us into June for getting the proposals back, which is good timing for things, as long as we get them back by September, where, awarded, if you award by September, it's good timing for a
Yeah.
developer. So,
Amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
that'd be good. Let me, I have one question, and we have to have, when it comes in, we need a selection crew to look at it. Can we do that as a trust? There's only 5 of us, we don't have that many people to do it. Can we do it as a trust?
yes,
Can we do it?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
we
Do
have a
have
bro-
that facilitated, or are we able to do that?
I-
We feel like,
Well,
I can,
go ahead.
I typically, or I can, if you want, I can facilitate the review. Depending on who the developers are, I may or may not be able to give you financial, advice on the financial piece, but we often pay for a consultant to come in and do that for you.
Okay, that'd be great.
yeah, that would
And then I'd like, as I said, there's 5 of us, so if we could do it as a group rather than have,
Yeah.
committee, subcommittee, something, that'd be more comfortable. That-
yeah, that'd be great. It's good to get help.
That'd be good, and we could help arrange that, that'd be good. And so, if we vote today, then we'll send it on to
Yep,
Joe and Megan, Julie.
Yeah.
and I'll do all the find and replace of,
There was-
God for
I did
small
catch,
favor.
there's one part in there where, and unfortunately, everything else I've got in my notes. In one of the documents, you list, not Harwich, but Wellfleet. It's in red, so you might want to catch that,
It's in red?
yeah.
That means I saw it and didn't change it.
Okay,
Okay.
that's probably why I called it, you see.
Sorry.
And maybe just
Okay.
correct that to a Harwich, and that was the only last typo I caught.
Yeah,
Laura,
okay.
sorry doesn't belong here. You have done for us
Everything.
Yeah,
an amazing
Thank
piece
you
of
very
work.
much.
yeah, it's
You're
fabulous.
welcome.
Yeah.
This is my pleasure.
We are incredibly grateful to you.
You're welcome. This is the best part of my job.
And
Absolutely.
I hate to say this, but Bob speaks for us all.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
First time I've heard that.
Okay, so if there's no more discussion, I think I think we need a motion, and the motion will to be okay the draft with the southern, what we want to call it, the southern concept drawing. If someone would care to make a motion, we can.
Brendan, you've been around the longest.
Yeah, so motion to approve,
He is our expert here.
yeah, I am. Motion to approve, I don't really have all the dates, though, for the RFP. So motion to approve RFP draft with the concept layout plan on the southern side.
Okay. So second,
Second.
any other discussion?
Oh, that's just concept two,
Concept two.
concept two,
Okay,
Right.
good,
okay?
perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is a great day, folks. We're
It
moving
is.
something forward, so
Very exciting.
really, we're all excited. And
exciting.
Laura's,
Wow.
we feel good, as we all should, and thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Laura.
and Larry, nice job.
Yes.
All I did was I get Laura's help. I'll take credit for Laura, what can I say?
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yours is the focus, so we'll move on. And now, what should we do? Should I ask Judy to make, our scribe to make a copy of this and send it over, Julie, to Joel and Megan?
On which one? I have the copy of this?
Yeah.
I have
I think you need to, will you give us a corrected copy, make a couple of corrections, and then email
I'll
it
make
into
the
us?
corrections
the
and,
corrected
and
version.
send them to,
Send them to Joel, and I'll give you who to send them to,
okay,
because we want a copy to Deneen, I'll send you that,
okay.
so we get everyone.
Yep.
They have support people too, that if we don't get it there, all the people, they may miss it. Okay,
Okay.
Laura, thank you.
thank you,
Thank you.
That's awesome.
it's great. Just a couple housekeeping items before we adjourn. Our next meeting is the 12th of March already, and that will start at 5 o'clock. Sorry, Laura, we had to move this one up, but, and we'll stick to that, because that's, that fits with Julie's schedule. And if something comes up again that we need more time, we'll schedule another meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds great.
And we'll keep it as we did now. This is a special meeting.
So 5 to 6:15 would be the regular meeting.
Because this meeting comes in at 6:30, so they were restricted to an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay.
I've given Judy one agenda item she needs to address. Please, if you have any agenda items, get them to Judy, copy me if you will, but give them to Judy by certainly the end of Tuesday, no later. That gives us Wednesday to review, and they have to be posted by the end of Thursday
Okay.
for the following week, so.
Okay.
Something comes up. I was gonna check, Bob, if any work could be done on the appraisal but I chickened out, because that's only been a week, and if procurement were to move that quickly, it'd be unusual. I will check for the next meeting, because I know,
That's
with
fine.
everything going on, getting prepared for us, I
Yep.
know the select board has an all-day budget meeting on Saturday, so
Yeah, we have,
there's a lot going on right now, so.
Sure.
But I will follow up
yeah, okay, yeah.
on that.
So-
Anything? Go ahead, Julie.
Just on that, I don't want to forget, so I will follow up on the Cape Cod Commission
Traffic
traffic
study, yeah.
study. I will share the plans with the board,
Board, please.
and I'll follow up on the parcel.
Good, perfect.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you,
No
Julie.
problem.
Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. All in favor?
Aye.
Good, I think that deserves